Hey everybody, my name is Max Steinman. I'm the Director of Sales at Landlord Web Solutions. This is the first vlog of 2019 for LWS. We decided this year to publish one vlog per month for 2019 as one of our goals. So keep in touch and stay tuned for a monthly edition. So today I'm going to be talking to you about digital advertising, and specifically Google Ads and retargeting, and some general concepts around both Google Ads and retargeting for the property management space. One of the most common questions I get in the field from clients and prospects is, Max, when is the right time to use Google Ads, and what are the right strategies to use with Google Ads? So there's really three main applications for Google Ads and retargeting services within the property management industry. The first is if you have a high density of properties in one specific market. For example, if you have 20 apartment buildings in Hamilton, let's say. If you've got 20 apartment buildings in Hamilton and you've got a great website, you almost in essence have yourself your own listing site. The city page on your website containing 20 different options for residents to choose from has a lot of power. And often what we call city campaigns on Google Ads, which is where you would actually buy high-level keywords such as apartments for rent in Hamilton, are extremely effective and fairly efficient in terms of cost per lead. We've seen cost per leads anywhere from $5 to $15 when you're running city campaigns and you've got a high density of buildings in a specific city or neighborhood or area. The second major application for Google Ads is on Marquee Properties or on high vacancy properties. Being in the Canadian market, we're pretty lucky that we don't have too many high vacancy markets, but there are some. Alberta, for example, and Saskatchewan do have higher vacancies than the rest of the country at the moment. And for large communities in those cities, Google Ads can be an appropriate solution for single communities. Usually, to make it worth it, the community would have to have over 100 units itself, maybe even more, and a fairly substantial marketing budget. The general rule of thumb for a property is that if it has over 7 or 8 vacancies, it's probably a good candidate for a Google Ads campaign for that single community. And when you do a single community Google Ads campaign, the idea is to drive traffic directly to the property page on your website, or in many cases, these could be single community websites themselves. The other application for single community campaigns is becoming more and more common, and that's lease-up marketing. For when you're taking a brand new building online and bringing it from 0 tenants all the way up to 250, 300 tenants. With lease-up marketing, Google Ads campaigns can be extraordinarily effective. Obviously, the budget in a lease-up can be much, much higher overall, or should be much higher, because you're filling so many units in a short period of time. So really, you should be using almost every efficient medium of marketing up until digital, and then digital should basically pave the way as using up the rest of your budget. In big markets, Google Ads can drive hundreds and hundreds of visitors a day to your website. In small markets, you might not have that sort of traction. But in big markets, you can take huge advantage of this, and we've seen in lease-up campaigns cost per leads as low as $5. But even if you're striking leads as in the $15 to $20 range, that can be really, really efficient in a lease-up. But budgets and expectations around budget should be much higher. And of course, one kind of key tip with lease-up marketing and Google Ads is to not cheap out on the website. If you are spending $5,000 to $10,000 a month on a Google Ads campaign in a lease-up situation, and you've only spent $1,000 to develop what's a fairly crummy website, that doesn't help convert that traffic. We see that all too often, unfortunately, sometimes. It is a good idea to invest in the website in the first place and make sure that it's a really high quality website that can convert on all of that money that you're dumping into a Google Ads campaign. The third major application for Google Ads in the property management industry is within property management services themselves. This is somewhere that we've been working with quite a few clients recently, and it's surprising how often people will go to Google, owners of one-off communities or condo units, and actually search for property management services. So if you're a company that does third-party property management, or that's your main business, Google Ads can be a phenomenal source of leads to open up new connections to owners and one-off landlords or anybody looking for property management services. Generally speaking, you have to have a much higher expectation in terms of the cost per lead, but since it's business to business, the payback is usually much, much higher. Cost per leads are generally from $50 to $150, and your overall costs generally aren't nearly as high as running a tenant-based Google Ads campaign, because there's just not as many people searching out there for property management services as there are renters searching for rental housing. So, the average management campaign can generally be around $500 a month, not much more, but depends on the size of the city that you're operating within. Okay, so finally, I want to talk to you about retargeting. Kind of a hot topic over the last couple of years, and something that if you're not familiar with, don't worry, you've definitely experienced it at some point just by browsing the web. Retargeting is essentially a great example to use is if you've ever been looking for a flight online, let's say from Toronto to New York City, and you go and check out the cost of that flight, but you don't necessarily book it right away. Well, retargeting is what happens to you when then you're browsing your favorite sports website or news site or really anywhere on the internet that serves up banner ads, and all of a sudden you start to see on those banner ads across the top of the page and the sides, flights to New York City starting at $259 round trip. That's retargeting. I sort of call it proverbially stalking people on the internet. And it can be a really effective tool to use in conjunction with a Google Ads search campaign. So basically creating banner ads that once people actually visit your site, either through a Google ad themselves or organically, or perhaps by typing your URL right into their browser if they're passing by one of your signs on the side of the street, they will then be followed by your site for a couple of weeks. And retargeting can be an extremely effective and affordable method for driving traffic back to your site, qualified traffic that's already showing some interest in your products. So just to summarize, Google Ads can be a fantastic and effective advertising method within our industry. It can be affordable and it has lots of applications, right up from stabilized communities that might need some more help to lease up marketing. And one of the cool things that we're doing here at LWS is building a phenomenal digital marketing team with some really great senior staff who are Google AdWords certified and have a ton of experience working on these types of campaigns. If you need any more information at all, don't hesitate to pick up the phone and call myself or somebody on our sales team, and we'd love to talk to you and strategize around how we can help you. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you soon.